Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. Today we are going to rig one of my favorite jigs. This is a beat trigger, and this is in the pink back glow. Now, this is kind of unique, the shape and everything. Most slow jigs, you'll see that there's a flat back, but this one's angled. But if you look, this side here, the bottom side, is actually deeper. So this is the top. All right, so we're dealing with the top here. For assist hooks, or for the hooks, we're using the VMC 7117. These are 3 O's. And assist cord will be the Varivas SS. Hard to work with, but some of the best. And I'm going to use this for both the top and the bottom. So the bottom one we don't have yet. So we are just going to measure out, and that's it. So this particular one, the 30, size 30, is actually hollow, and it doesn't have anything inside. So what you could do is insert your own fluorocarbon core, which I did with the section for the top right here. Okay, now I'm going to bring you in so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay. So the first thing we do is actually insert the hook onto the braid. We're gonna tie this the traditional way, or one of the traditional ways. Okay, as I mentioned, this braid is super tough to work with, so just be patient. There we go. We go like that. Okay. And since we're going to be tying a lot from the top, we mount the hook as such. Okay. Now the very first thing is we cut this. Okay, measure out. That's about it. I would say I would cut just a tad bit on the top here. There we go. That should be more than enough. Yep. So best thing is to back it up a bit. So you can see there's some space. And that's how you start your tie. Like that. Okay. Very important to wrap forward tightly. That keeps this facing forward. Now I'm gonna have to adjust my vise here. Because I want to really torque down. And I don't want it to move. There we go. This one here, if it strays, take your pliers and just adjust. Okay, that's a bit too long right there. So I'm just gonna take my knife and cut that section. I want this to be as short as possible. Okay, here we go. That is it. Then all we have to do is just tidy up. It's kind of hard. Flip this around so we can see what we're doing. And also, if I flip it around, I could put my thumb on the hook right there for leverage. Or actually hold it on top here to keep it in place. So it's a bit handier like that. Alright, so we're just winding to get it clean. Like so. Okay, now we can finish this. Like so. So we have a fluorocarbon tip for this, or inside fluorocarbon, and then for the back we don't. Now, I don't know if you could see it, but it's kind of fuzzy, so we just run a lighter. And this thing's pretty tough. Don't worry, see? There. Now it's clean. Alright. So, we measure according to the jig and see exactly where we want this to fall. Okay. Then we insert our hook. Make sure it's centered. Okay. There we go. The fluorocarbon core will actually just go to one side. So don't worry too much about the fluorocore. There we go. Then we cut the length, go through the same motions. Okay, so you can see there. Now, the same thing, what we're going to do is move back a bit before we start our wraps. So, like so. It just gives this time to actually adjust to its position. Just gives us a bit of working space. Also, since you're putting this ahead of where you put the hook, you're actually giving yourself that much space for the braid to actually not compress. Just it's a safeguard so that if just in case things move, what happens is that this will prevent it from moving past the spade head. That would be a catastrophe if it goes past the spade head. Okay, so as you can see right here, this is long because the hook is here. Okay, so I'm making it long so that I avoid the hook when I'm turning, and I'm doing this very tightly, so very dangerous, and there's a chance that I would hook myself if I'm not careful, because I'm doing this with so much force that it's see, there we go. It's so easy to hook yourself. There's no eye for the hook to go into to keep it in, so have to do this. Okay, we're at the end here. Okay. 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 So now I'm gonna bring you out. Okay, let's zoom out so that we can see exactly what we've done with the. There we go. Now we need a small split ring, which we have here. Okay, let me get two so that we could just okay. Now the length is always a main concern for me, and a lot of people just don't care about those things, but for me, I want to use split rings and solid rings that are just big enough for the use. So this is no exception. So we are doing, okay, the wrap, the loop right there. We will go under and around the solid ring as per usual. Do the twist on the base of the solid ring, and then another wrap through. Did we do it? All right, I'm gonna risk getting stabbed again and do this without the holder. You guys know how to do this. So this is the only difference is I'm using a small, really small ring for this. This is why I keep the hook. You know, this is where it's handy because there we go. You could just hook it, pull it a little bit, okay, and that's not gonna go anywhere if you use that. And then take your hooks, put it there, and then you could do your preliminary sort of tightening right there. Okay, now you can move to your pull tool, which is the right tool for the job, and then all you have to do is tighten. Okay, again, when you're doing this, tighten with both. Okay, and then tighten one by one because it will make it snug, like so. And you feel it move, but be very careful because it's so easy to screw yourself up with this, especially with these hooks. And in this size, they're actually very sticky, as I call them. Okay, then all we have to do is just adjust how they drop. Like so. And we have it. sometimes they're very hard to manage, but after a while of just, twisting them in place, they actually behave. There's a weird dynamic that's happening with the insert. This is why they're like this, and it takes considerable force to stretch fluorocarbon. So, and fluorocarbon is stretchier than mono. It's just that it requires more force. Okay, so here we go. We put this on like so. Okay, now you can see there, that's where it sits. Okay, bit too short for my liking, but that's fine. This jig moves a lot, and what happens is when it moves around a lot, it also has the hook moving around so much that you might snag. So what I usually do is stiff, very stiff, and shorter. That's so this jig is very easy to work, and it's very light on the rod. This is why I like it a lot. Okay, now let's put the hooks on for this. Okay. Now let's tie knots on this. This has been my go-to, this method, ever since I happened across it. And I was like, man, this is such a good method, and it works so well. So if you don't want to bite it, you could use this. Okay, so just pull like so, and that'll do it. Do the same for the other side. Like so. I don't bite this because the red stuff actually comes off. So, not good. Okay, so that's good. The good thing about this knot, and I'll show you exactly why I'm so in love with it. This braid does not burn too well. So that's fine. If you'll notice that it doesn't burn like the others. Okay, there we go. Smells real bad too. All right. Now the good thing about this is that since you've created a stopper, okay, you can actually put just a small tie, and you could play around with the length. Okay, so you could do it super short like that. Just as long as your ties are actually quite strong, it's not going to move. That's the beauty of this. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys that right now. that is super tight. You wouldn't believe it, because we're cutting this really short. We need this to be super solid. Okay, so just like that. And you can't do that with other styles because that is just too freaking short, right? But with this, because of the stopper, you can. All you have to do is ensure that your wraps are super tight. Just like that. There we go. That is solid as can be. And believe it or not, that's not going to go anywhere. So just that. And again, but we need to really put the initial wrap super tight as well. And you'll see the color changes. Okay, so pull, few loose wraps, and then pull, and it traps everything. Okay, pull again. I'm just doing the tags, okay? Just like that. That is all we need. Okay. Okay. Pull tight. That's not going to go anywhere. Now we can wrap, and we have to be very careful when we're wrapping because we don't want this guy here to peg us. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to use the rotary function together with the tension that this bobbin holder can do. And that's just enough force for us to wrap. There we go. As you can see there, I'm just pulling my bobbin holder and it is moving this thing. It's that tight. So that's loose now because we've moved it, but let's go ahead and put more wraps. There we go. Then we will do our finishing wraps. Okay, tighten that thing. Okay, again, we're still gonna glue this up, so all right, now can take the solid ring, pass it through, and we're able to do our wrap from here. Okay. Okay. Make this shorter. Okay, we are just tightening, getting ready for the PR part. Okay, we go. Now we actually need to take the loose part off first. We don't want that interfering. There it is. Okay, so that loose part we can cut. You see, if I need a clean straight cut, I use those cutters. So if you can, really, those are worth the money. Okay, now, oh crap. Well, it's not gonna see the light of day, is it? Okay, so we have everything positioned. We can start the binding of this. I'm just going to spiral in until I have, I don't know, 2, and then proceed to do the ties. And this is very, very wound tight. I'm gonna do about 3 passes. This is the second right here. And we're gonna end it there on the 3rd pass. Okay, so we just need to do our locking. And what this does is it actually helps stiffen this area right here. And if it's stiff, it will actually help reduce tangles. Like even if there's just that small section, now we're cutting. I'm gonna cut this and then I'll show you exactly what it looks like. And then we can go ahead and put it on the jig. Okay, so right there. Now let's just do a pull to set everything. Okay, so those knots are not going anywhere. Yeah. Okay, that is one good looking assist hook. Again, sometimes just because of the jig itself, how it's shaped, kind of an optical illusion, we'll see that the hooks might look smaller than they are, but if you measure the halfway point, you'll see that the hooks actually stick out just a tad bit, which is what you want. For slow jigging, I've been doing this method, and so far the proportions actually line up. It's easier to do it this way than saying, okay, 3-0, 2-0, because, you know, these are VMC 7117s. And if you compare them with a pike 2.0, they're the same size. So you can't just say, oh, 2.0 and that's the right size. So you have to look at the jig and let it tell you exactly which one is good for it. All right, so we have this. All right, not bad right there. You could see. Okay, so there it is. There we go. This is the trigger from Beat. Good jig. Very good jig. Actually, an Amberjack specialist. This is a 160 gram. And I am looking to get heavier versions of this, actually. But this particular one has caught me some nice fish over the course of me having it. All right, so again, this jig has a wild action, and having the top section shorter helps a lot with the leader tangles. All right, so there we go, and our tail hook is still longer, of course, as you can see. There's about an inch gap, which is fine. Alrighty, that is it. If you have questions, just hit me up in the comment section. And thanks so much for watching. All right. See you in the next one. Class dismissed.